Jai Hind all, this is Assistant Professor Gagandeep Singh from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, AKG EC. This is a lecture series on analog signal processing and this is lecture 3. In the previous lectures, we have discussed the introduction of analog signal processing, in which we have discussed what is analog signals, what is processing, and what are the systems required for analog signal processing. The systems are generally known as the filters. Then we discussed that when we have digital signal processing, what is the need of analog signal processing. This was the first unit, first lecture. In the second lecture, we have discussed transfer functions. What are transfer functions and how we define a transfer function. In today's lecture, we will discuss the transfer functions which are bilinear transfer functions. We will see what are the bilinear transfer functions and how they are important. In the previous lectures, we have seen the simplest form of transfer functions, which is given by some voltage output or by voltage input or output by input. Generally, any input is in the form of a polynomial, as well as the output will be in the form of polynomial. For example, here ns is polynomial given by this equation. Also, the denominator is input, which can be given by this. The ratio of these two polynomials will give the transfer function. So, when we want a transfer function to be implementable or realizable in the actual components, there are some conditions that should be there. These conditions are, first thing is that this must be a irrational number. For this one, n must be greater than m. That means this should be greater than the order of the above polynomial. Also, for actual realization, for the actual components, the Bj can be have a positive value, a negative value, or it can be a 0. Means this coefficients of transfer function can have any value, whereas Aj means the coefficients of denominator must be positive only. It cannot be negative, it cannot be 0. So, these three conditions must be satisfied for a circuit to be realizable with the real components. Now, what if we cannot use these conditions? That means if n is less than m, then in that case the circuit will act as a oscillator. An oscillator will not follow these conditions. So, violating these conditions in a circuit will be an oscillator. So, for transfer function given by the previous one, the polynomial has simplest form when s or n is 1 and m is 1. So, when we have n is equal to 1 and m is equal to 1, the denominator can be given by b1 s plus b0. Similarly, the denominator will have a 1, m will be 1. So, a1 s raised to power 1 plus a0 will be the denominator. So, the transfer function that can be realized using these equations will be equal to b1 s raised to power 1 plus b0 upon a1 s1 plus a0. Now, if you can see there, these are the two equations which are in the linear form, or this is a transfer function containing the two linear functions, linear function in numerator and linear function in denominator. So this function is known as bilinear transfer function, where the two equations are in the linear form. Again, to have this circle, the first thing is that the ns, the denominator, can have a positive value, can have a negative value as well as a zero value, but denominator must be non-negative, that means positive, and for actual circuits the roots of this ds must be on the right hand side only, right side of the origin. Only then we can realize these into a actual component. So we have transfer function given by these two equations, the two linear equations, and ns by ds, where ns is 1 b1s plus b naught divided by a1s by a naught. This equation can be taken in some manipulations, where we have taken the coefficients as 1 for s, the highest coefficients we have taken 1, so it will be b naught by b1 by upon a naught by a1. If we see this equation has this component which is a constant, and if we see this circuit, this side of equation, the zeros of this equation can be given by equating this one ns equal to 0, or we can say that s is equal to minus of b naught by b1 are zeros. Let's suppose z1 are the zeros of this transfer function. Similarly, to find out the poles, this ds should be equal to 0. So the poles can be found out by s is equal to minus a1 a naught by a1, that will be the poles. So these are the poles and the zeros of the equation. Now when we design a filter, or when we say that we are analyzing a filter, the main actual function is to realize the zeros and the poles, to find out the zeros and the poles of a circuit. Or reversely, when we have a given input, we find out the output, we want the required output, how we realize this transfer function, how we implement that transfer function, that means how we select these zeros and poles, that will be the designing of the filter. And when we design that filter, how our zeros and poles are located, where these are located, that is known as the analysis of the circuit. Now how these poles and zeros will be selected, that will be selected using b naught and b1, poles will be selected using a naught and a1. Reversely, these a naught a1 and b naught b1 will give our transfer function result. So that's how we will implement the filters. So we can say this equation in this form, where k is b1 by a1. These are the coefficient, highest coefficient of numerator and the denominator of transfer function. Zeros are z1 and poles of the transfer functions are p1. So these equations have zeros located at z is equal to minus b1 by b naught and z1 is equal to minus b naught by b1, and poles given by minus of a naught by a1. Now, how we can realize this filter or this transfer function in active filters? To realize these filters, first of all, let's suppose we are using op amps. Now, we are using op amp in an inverting form. Inverting form means we are giving it in the negative feedback. So, this is a general form of inverting amplifier, a op amp in the negative amplifier, where A is the gain of this amplifier, inverting amplifier. Z1 and Z2 are the impedances that are required to implement our filter. I is the current given inside the circuit, and we are giving a feedback on the negative terminal of op amp. Positive terminal is grounded. V1 is our input and V2 is our response. That means this whole is a processor or system, and in our case system is a filter. So, now first thing is to realize, to find out the Z1 and Z2, what are the impedances. To that one, to find that things, we have zeros and poles. We have to choose zeros and poles. Accordingly, we will have Z1 and Z2. Now, for this one, let's suppose we have the inverting amplifier. So, if we see V1 minus VA, let's suppose VA is the voltage over here, which is VA, divided by Z1 minus V2 upon minus VA by Z2 will be equal to 0, which is just a equation of the whole circuit. Now, if we some manipulations, it gives V1 by V2, which will be the transfer function, is equal to Z minus Z2 by Z1 into 1 upon 1 plus 1 upon AS into 1 plus Z2 by Z1, where AS we have seen that is the gain of the circuit, gain of operational amplifier. Or we can say that this equation Z1 can be changed into the transconductance, admittance. The impedance is converted into admittance. This admittance is generally used for our circuit because it will be giving some transparency to the circuit. Rather than saying that this will be stopped, we can say that this will be passed. So, this will be the admittance that is important for our study. So, we will use generally in our course the admittance Y's. However, we will use Z also, the impedance also, but we will use Y also for our discussion. So, we can say that this is the actual transfer function for our implementation. Y1 and Y2 are still to be analyzed. Now, for simplicity, assume that A is infinite. That means we have idle op amp. Idle op amp means we have infinite gain. The gain of operational amplifier is infinite. In that case, if we put in the previous value, the transfer function V2 by V1 will be equal to minus Z2 by Z1 or minus Y1 by Y2, where Y1 is equal to 1 by Z1 and Y2 is equal to 1 by Z2. Also, in the general form, Ts can be given by the equation that we have seen in the previous slides. that is minus k into S into Z1 upon S upon Z P1, where Z1 are the zeros, P1 are the poles. So now we equate first and the second equation, then we can say that this one is equal to y1 upon y2 is equal to minus z2 by z1, or we can say that from this equation that minus k into s plus zeros upon 1 plus poles, s plus poles is equal to minus y1 y2. So if we implement this one possibility is that y1 is equal to the some components if we give C1 plus G1, and similarly y2 can be given by SC2 plus G2, where C1 is the capacitance and G1 is the impedance of the resistor, that means admittance. So if we again implement this one, the transfer function can be given by y1 by y2 into SC1 plus G1 divided by SC2 G2. If we take again common the highest coefficient of S, that will be minus of C1 by C2 into S upon S plus G1 upon C1 and S upon S plus G2 C2, where this C2 is the highest coefficient of the denominator. So this one is K, as in our discussion as a general form of transfer function. This is a K and this is Z1. This term is the zeros. We can say that it is a poles, so it will be P1. So if we compare this one, the K can be given by C1 by C2 and the zeros can be given by G1 C1, the poles can be given by G2 C2. Now we have two equations, these equations y1 and y2. Now these can be implemented using this one. Now remember, this one was y1 or z1 and this one was z2. So z1 or y1 is the parallel form of C1 and G1, that is C1 and R1. So it is in the parallel of C1 and R1, and y2 is the parallel combination of C2 and G2. So it is R2 and C2. Now from the previous equations of the transfer function, we have seen that K is given by C1 by C2. From the previous slides, it is given by minus of C1 by C2. So these capacitance, this capacitance and this capacitance will result in the choice of K. Also we have seen that the poles, the zeros can be given by G1 and C1. That means this y1 will be responsible for choosing a pole of the circuit, and this C2 R2 will be responsible for using Z2. Z2. This G2 C2 is Z2. That means it is responsible for poles of the circuit. We have seen that zeros can be positive, negative or zeros, whereas pole should be always on the right hand side of the plane. So this can be taken as 0, but this cannot be taken as 0. So this is how we can implement our bilinear transfer function using this active components. Now here some follow-ups are there. First thing is that we have assumed that A is infinite, which is a not practical case. In actual case, we will have some value of A. Some value of A means we will have some significance of A in our previous equations also. Second case, we have chosen one case of y1 and y2 only. There are other possibilities of y1 and y2 also. That means we can have a number of combinations of z1 and z2. We have different possibilities of z1 and z2, but that will again depend how zeros and poles are to be located. So we can have in the next lecture we will discuss what is the effect of gain on amplifier, and we will see the other realizations also. Thank you.